that is, do they have to have an affiliation with the university? And the answer really is no. Well, you say
that's correct.
The answer really is no. We have people coming in to the competition who want to participate. Now, it can't be just anybody. So the person has to be vetted in some fashion. And we try and work to have, to define what that relationship is. And obviously when they come in, they have a relationship. But it's not as if they have to be a Notre Dame grad. Okay? I'm not an alum of the University of Notre Dame. I was not smart enough to get in. Unfortunately, my kids were. They moved to my wife's gene pool. But it's not that strict. But it also can't be an ad in the paper to say anybody who comes in. It's prudent management of that process. Is that fair? Is that fair? Any other questions or yes, sir?
I have a comment and then a question. The first comment is that I very frankly have to tell you how much I disagree with your sources that Chilean businessmen are trying to avoid risk. I think if you know any business in any part of the world, you will know that avoiding risk is no business. In fact, because I always tell when I'm related to entrepreneurship and to fostering, and I was the chairman of Endeavor in Chile.
Okay.
So let me tell you, I always tell young guys that are starting a business, please beware that you may have the risk of being tremendously successful. Risk is just a distribution of probabilities. And people tend to think risk is failure, and it's nonsense. So as I fully agree with you that any businessman and entrepreneur should learn how to manage risk. I think people who are trying to avoid risk are not entrepreneurs. They're maybe they're managing fortunes, they inherited or things like that. That's not business.
I agree with you.
Just to that.
I'm glad you disagree with me.
No, but I just would like you have more. You learn more about Chilean business, and not so risk avoidance as you were told when you started on the bank. Sorry, I don't know with whom I'm disagreeing about that. But the question now, Tim. Well, first, let me take. I appreciate very much your talk. So straightforward, so generous, and thank you. I really love it, and I see how an angel is doing for the university and for those young entrepreneurs. But now the question: the angels. What are the rules you're gonna? What kind of rules do you use when you say you were kind of, for example, for taking a deal? When 12 hands rise, who takes the deal, who doesn't take the deal? Do you have any kind of rules between yourselves? The other one, you said that you were also worried that all the investors have a part of the success. Are those not conflicting interests? How do you manage that?
Okay. I will talk to the latter part, and I'll let Jim talk about the selection if you want. When I say everyone has part of the success, I need to can you go back to your slide, your circle slide, real quickly, so you can understand precisely what I'm saying. I'll describe it, and as he pulls up the picture, there we go. He's so brilliant. Okay, so clearly, if you invest in a deal, and you do not, okay, from a financial point of view, you're not going to benefit from that deal. Okay?
No, how do you decide who invests?
Yeah, I'm going to come to that. I'm going to come to that. Okay. So in terms of his benefit, okay, he's not going to benefit from it financially, but indirectly he benefits from it in two different ways. Number one, the fact that you invested in it moves forward. It strengthens the network, and it gives him an opportunity to look at the next deal and go forward. So there's that benefit. And there's also the benefit when that deal goes forward, it helps a kid or it helps a young student or young entrepreneur, and he will feel that benefit more than I could possibly describe to you right now. Okay. Now, in terms of the selection process, it runs the gamut. Do you want to take a shot at that from the October conference?
Yeah, let me explain this. First off, rules. The most important rule is complete transparency. When we first came up with the deal, our very first deal, we called our 10 friends. But the people that weren't called were very angry because they didn't know about the deal. And they wanted when they saw the returns on that deal and they didn't have the opportunity, they were not happy. So our first number one rule is that all of the angels know about all of the deals. Now, who takes part in a deal and how the market works, once everybody knows about the deal, and if you'll take a look right here who the Irish Angel sponsor is, that's important. Because now if I want to play a role in that deal, if I want to invest in that deal, I have a point of contact. If I have questions about the deal, real concerns about the deal, I might call the entrepreneur. But somehow that body of angels, they get together and they call each other and I have a deal you need to look at, or this is my concern with this deal. There's openness and transparency. What happens within the Irish Angel Network? It's the market. It's like an amoeba. It moves, and there's no real rule other than complete transparency.
I want to add one thing to that too, because I think it goes to the feeling, and that is to give you an example, there's some deals that people have asked me to participate in, and really wanted me to participate in, and I really didn't want to, because either my liquidity position at the time, or I didn't like the deal, or I didn't like the person who was heading the deal. I didn't want to work with that person so much. So that dynamic goes on, but the way I would describe that is that's just free market. As long as there's a sense of collegiality in the process, it is a dynamic. And I'm sure there are situations where someone wanted to put more in, and the funding had been completely capped out, and they were on the sidelines for the amount. But it's not as if, gee, I'm now going to pout, I'm going to go home. It's okay, that didn't happen. But the real exciting thing is the deal flow. Okay, the deal flow comes in, and if you have a good deal flow but no capability to analyze it, that's a dangerous situation. If you have good deal flow and a system in place to filter it, then you have confidence that there'll always be an opportunity for you to participate in something.
Let me share one last thing. Not all angels are experienced investors. They don't know how to do it. But to come into the angel network and watch guys like Tim and Gary G. Go and all these other angels, John Riley, that know how to do a deal. And they get to work with them, and they get to see how they do deals and judge deals. The fall conference, that Wednesday before, that's when the angels kind of get together and they talk about how they're going to do the deals and how they're going to judge the business plans and who's coming. And you really learn how to do this kind of investment by watching other investors. And so some people never invest. I might also add the Fish Taco Fund. Boy, very small fraction, a very small percentage of our Irish Angels even participate in the fund. It's completely voluntary. Completely voluntary. But boy, has it changed lives. It's really helped deals stay alive where they would have died prior to getting the investment they needed.
Sir, you take a couple of steps back. How do the university selects the projects? How do you select the students on the project? Because I understand how you go forward.
Yes, and that's part of the education process. And I can tell you is what happens is the students come with the projects. Sometimes business students come in, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. The business student will come in, and business students have the tools, but they have lousy ideas. They don't have good ideas. And so sometimes it's putting the business students together with the science students or the engineering students and bringing ideas to the business students and forming a team. So the idea can come from an alumni. An alumni will come to us and say, I've got a great idea. Tim participated with one alum that he's a PhD in biophysics. Came with a wonderful idea. Didn't have any idea about business, but had a great idea. Well, we can try to put them together with students that have the skills or are learning those skills, and with angels to help them start the deal. So How we come up with ideas, they come from anywhere. We don't give them the idea, but we try to form networks where ideas can come in. And they can come from anywhere. Now, let me tell you one more thing. In class, the very first thing we do is say, is it a good idea? And so we do something called a feasibility analysis. Does it have market value? Does it add customer value? Can you grow it? Can you sustain it? Do you have the right management team? Do you have the competencies? Is the market ready? Are you solving a real market problem? We do the feasibility analysis. And if the deal isn't there, and we can tell pretty early even in the classroom, we will tell them right now that this idea, even though it sounds like a good idea, will never succeed. Sometimes it simply takes changing the idea a little bit. This deal that Tim invested in with Jeff Burnell, his original idea